Everybody, no more sleeping in bed. No more backward thinking, time for thinking ahead. The world has changed so very much from what it used to be.
Alright, my name's Irvin Carney. I volunteer with OFA Ohio America down here, registered voters in Open Rhine. I stay in downtown Cincinnati. I'm originally from Alabama, as you can see, Roll Tide. Moved up here, got a job, so it's exciting being in the swing state at this time of the year. The excitement level has been really good. I mean, this election is really important because this is a stark choice, and he's had our back for all these years. We got to have his back at the polls in November. So, like I said, I register voters in Over the Rhine, and I really just try to help out when I can. Brother named Jonathan got me involved. And we just go to all the events that happen downtown and hit them up, get people registered, have a good ground game.
Okay, now who are the organizers of everything that's going on tonight?
Well, from what I know, it's Jonathan, and I don't know his last name, so Jonathan. He is the downtown organizer. They're about to break it from one team to 5 different teams and have little sections. But I know he's just this area, and then there's a state director and there's regional directors and all that. I'm actually getting to know him just like you are. So yeah, but Jonathan, he got me involved. Yeah, he's really been on me, and they do a really good job of making sure you come to the events and hit you up. I've been contacted, and people probably know this if you've gotten in contact with the Obama campaign. They will call you relentlessly. But that's good, you know what I'm saying? So I love the energy, and I'm all the way with it.
So who can we expect to see tonight?
Well, I heard this cat, he won a couple Grammys, done some things with Kanye, I heard John Legend was coming through. We're gonna see. But we're gonna see in a second here though. That's exciting. That's really exciting. I'm glad he's coming. He's an Ohio guy, and we need everyone we can get right now. All hands on deck, because it is it is imperative to the future of this country that we go out and vote in November. So we gotta do it.
Well, I thank you for your time, and I thank you for talking with us.
All right, thank you.
I really appreciate it. My name is Derek Black. I'm regional director for down here in Southwest Ohio. I'm going to hand the mic over to a city councilman, PG Sittenfeld. Good evening. Good evening. So Aaron said, I am Cincinnati City Councilman PG Sittenfeld. It is a genuine pleasure to get to be with all of you tonight. We decided we're actually going to mix it up a little bit, and John Legend is going to talk about some of his favorite pieces of local legislation, and I'm going to sing a few R&B songs. It does occur to me that between this incredible space, between all of you being here, between our being joined by John Legend, this might quite possibly be the greatest office opening in the history of political campaigns. So if you agree with me that this space is pretty awesome, and you agree with me that you're pretty awesome, and you agree with me that John Legend is pretty awesome, make a little bit of noise. I was thinking that if a friend asked me, what'd you do today? And I said, oh, I went to an office opening. I don't think this is what they would picture. But in the Obama campaign, even an office opening is more than just an office opening. Like everything in this campaign, it is about people coming together from different backgrounds, for different reasons, but with a common belief shared by our president. That belief is that what made this country great are principles of justice and fairness and opportunity, and those pillars need to extend not just to some people, but to all people. Now, if for some reason it was not enough that President Obama is the only candidate in this race who believes all young people have to have access to quality, affordable education, if it were not enough that President Obama is the one candidate in this race who is truly committed to building a strong, prosperous middle class. And if for some reason it were not enough, that President Obama is the only candidate in this race who respects women's bodies and health and reproductive rights. If for some reason all of that were not enough, I think what would tip the scales in the president's favor is that if you're looking for the candidate with the coolest, the most creative, the most committed supporters, it can only be Barack Obama. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm not sure you could come up with a cooler, more creative, more committed supporter than one of Ohio's native sons, a legend in the world of music, a proud member of Team Obama, John Legend!
Cincinnati! We gotta give it up for our councilman here. That's quite an introduction. I don't know what else I can say after that. I want to welcome y'all here. As he said, this is a pretty exciting way to open an office. I'm excited to be here because, as you all know, I grew up right up the road in Springfield, Ohio. I got a lot of family down here in Cincinnati. And I love this state of Ohio, and I care about this state of Ohio. And as you know, as it is every 4 years, Ohio is very important in determining the future of this country. As you know, Ohio is the swingiest of swing states. Y'all swinging. As you know, every single vote is going to matter in November. Is that right? So the reason why I've been across this state today, I started up in Toledo, I went to Lima, I went to Dayton, and then I came all the way down 75 to Cincinnati. It's because I'm not going to let my home state go to Romney in 2012. We won 4 more years from Barack Obama. I voted for Barack Obama back in 2008. I met him back in 2006 in his office in Chicago, and I told him if he decided to run, I would be there to help him out. I stayed true to my promise, and he stayed true to his promise to me as a candidate. We needed a president who cared enough about every citizen in this country that he cared about extending access to affordable health care to every citizen. They talk about Obamacare like it's a bad word. But Obamacare is a wonderful thing to say. We know what it's like when our relatives are bankrupted and turned away by insurance companies, and we know what it's like, and we couldn't abide that in this country, the richest country on earth, that we're the only developed country that didn't have health care for every citizen. It was a national shame, and our president fought, despite all the opposition, to make sure that every citizen in this country had access to affordable health care. And we're proud of that. Our president passed the Recovery Act to put millions of people back to work. You know, they talk about jobs as if the president is to blame for our unemployment crisis. But we haven't been asleep the last 4 years. We know what's been going on. We know that our financial system cratered. We know that our housing crisis occurred. under George Bush's watch. We know that when the president was inaugurated, our country was losing 800,000 jobs a month. And when his policies went into effect in mid-2009, early 2010, a turnaround started happening. We had 28 straight months of private sector job growth, millions of jobs added in the private sector. And then as soon as the Republicans took over the House, they tried to stop every move that he would make to help the American people. And now they want to complete the takeover by taking over the White House and reversing all the progress that we made. They want to refound the 20th century. We know that in many places in this country, black folks couldn't vote until the 1960s. We're not going to let a little inconvenience stop us from voting now. So, I came to Cincinnati because I want to make sure we're fired up and ready to go. We're going to go out there and get people to vote. We're going to register people. We're going to tell our families, tell our neighbors, tell our friends, because we can't lose this election because we didn't show up. Are we ready, Cincinnati? So wake up, everybody, no more sleeping in bed. No more backward thinking, time for thinking ahead. The world has changed so very much from what it used to be. There is so much hatred, war and poverty. Wake up all the teachers, time to teach a new way. Maybe then they'll listen to what you have to say. They're the ones who are coming up. The world is in their hand. When you teach the children, teach them the very best you can. Hey, the world won't get no better if we just let it be. Yeah, the world won't get no better. We gotta change it, yeah, just you and me. God bless you. Good night, Cincinnati. Have a good night.
Why was it important for you to come back to your home state of Ohio and campaign for President Obama?
I came to Ohio because I know how important Ohio is. I know that it's a very closely contested state, and whoever wins usually wins the presidency. And I want to make sure President Obama gets reelected, and I decided I was going to come to my home state and visit a lot of these venues and speak to the voters, speak to the volunteers, and make sure we get people out to vote.
One of the things I thought that was interesting you touched on was the early voting hours.
Yes.
That issue. Tell me your opinions on that and why you wanted to talk about it.
Well, there's been a concerted effort across the country in Republican-led state legislatures to make voting more inconvenient, especially for particular constituencies that they know came out in full force for Obama in 2008. And they've started to admit that this was behind their decisions to limit voting, to require more cumbersome ID requirements. The state official in Pennsylvania admitted that he was doing that because he wanted to help Governor Romney win. The state official here in Ohio admitted that he didn't want to make it easier for black people to vote. And so they've made it fairly clear that their agenda was to make it more difficult for people to vote, hoping that that would tilt their swing states in their favor. However, we know that the only way to combat that is to make sure we educate the voters, get them out to vote, get our volunteers out there, making sure our people get out to vote early and often, and that's what we're doing, and that's why I'm here.
Are we ready, Cincinnati? So wake up, everybody, no more sleeping in bed. No more backward thinking, time for thinking ahead. The world has changed.